Okay, hi, welcome to another video. So, quite a few people have been asking about my float fishing setup for pike. The last few months it's more or less been the main method that I've been using, bar obviously a few small lure fishing videos, but dead baiting with the float has been the main content for the last sort of few months. So yeah, a few people have been asking what the setup is, and I just thought I would make this quick video to give you a bit of a rundown of the setup itself. So nice and simple. I tend not to overcomplicate things too much with the setup. So first and foremost is the braid stop. So obviously it's going to be way down the line at the minute, so you can see that has been already added to the braid that's sitting down at the depth that I want to be fishing at. So in this particular spot it's about 18-19 foot, give or take. So to give you an idea of what they are, that's them. Really cost effective option, but really effective in what they do. I think they're maybe $2.50 for a packet of them. You simply slide them onto the braid, slide it to the depth of whatever you want it to go to. Obviously the likes of the fish finder there behind me, you'll see, is a good indication of what depth you're going to be fishing in. Next then is going to be your stopper bead. So those ones in particular is a rubber one. I wouldn't recommend the rubber ones if you're using braid, because what happens is the braid does tend to burn into them almost, and can actually stop the float from moving up and down. The float itself is a 56 gram Sea-Tac foam float. I got them on eBay. I've been using them for the last few years now. They're basically indestructible. Really good float, and really cheap as well. The weight I use with those particular floats is a 3 ounce, sorry. And with that, the reason being is a lot of the places I fish here, there's usually quite a strong flow, and them there will always keep your bait down on the bottom, especially if you're using more than 2-3 rods on a boat. You really don't want them sort of moving all over the place. That can cause quite a bit of a tangle and just not great at all. Then you're onto another bead, which is just before your knot. The main purpose of that is to protect your knot from the weight, so that you're not going to obviously lose any fish. What I like to do as well is, not everybody's cup of tea, but I use a fluorocarbon up trace. That's just to give me a bit more protection, just in case the pike does tend to roll on the braid and potentially bite through the braid. So I use that. They're a self-made one that you actually buy in twos. And then last but not least, it's just your standard snap tackle trace, which one actually needs changed. I've caught a few fish in that already this morning, so hence the reason why I'm doing the video showing you with this one. So yeah, nice and simple, that's it. I will give you a bit of a clip later on in the video just of how it works, and it actually catching a few fish as well. So yeah, nice and simple, don't need to overcomplicate it, and yeah, that's it. Right, so one quick demonstration then, just to make sure everybody knows exactly how I'm doing it. So the things I mentioned to you earlier then were the float stoppers. So these are probably the easiest thing to put on in the world. It's literally put the braid through the loop and pull. Simple as that. That's your braid stop now onto your braid. So you slide this then to whatever depth you're looking to fish. So as I said earlier, the spot I'm in at the minute's about 18 foot, give or take. So I'm going to slide that there to about 20 foot. So I'm sitting 2 foot over the bottom. So it goes right up the line, right up to 20 foot. The next thing then, as I mentioned earlier, is the bead. Just like that, bead. Then, probably the most difficult thing to put on sometimes is the float, depending on if the braid wants to behave. Sometimes you need to twist it to get it through, especially if the inside of the float is wet. Okay, that's it on. Then next again is the weight, which I said earlier was 3 ounces. You can change your weight depending on the type of water you're fishing, the size of float that you're using, The reason I use these is because it works for me and where I fish. Last bit that slides onto the line is the last bead then, which again was to protect your knot. Then the very last bit, what you need to do to tie on is your fluorocarbon trace, which is used as an up trace. Last but not least, then you clip on your wire trace. One of the main benefits of also using these as well, what I find really useful, is when we hook a fish and we have the fish in the net, you can actually hold the fish in the side, at the side of the boat, unclip it from the fluorocarbon trace while you get everything set up, so you're unhooking mat and so on and so forth. And at that time then the fish has obviously time to recover in the net, which is obviously a lot better for the fish's welfare. And yeah, so that's basically it. I'm going to get this tied up and get it through back out again. But yeah, nice and simple, you don't need to overcomplicate it, and that's my rig for float fishing for pike.